Okay. So Digital Circus managed to get, like, almost 100 million views. It's probably going to very soon. Within, like, 3 to 4 weeks of its release, which is blowing my mind right now. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying it like I'm on the crew, but, wow. If this show doesn't get greenlit, I'm gonna be surprised, unless it's due to budgeting or whatever. But anyways, the point is that I watched it because it's everywhere, and it was better than I thought it would be. So, there's obviously something I want to talk about since I'm making a video about it, which is how I perceive Jax's character, because I have seen so many different takes on this guy, and I want to give my opinion. So first of all, I just want to say that as a character, I find Jax incredibly interesting. He has a lot of potential, like, for where his character could go, but he also just makes a good, like, comedic character, you know? He adds a lot of, like, substance to the plot, I think, and he's funny, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think Jax is a great character. With all that being said, as a person, I would never, ever want to meet him in real life if you, like, paid me. No, I'm sorry. He seems horrendous to be around. So here is my explanation on why I would never, ever want to see Jax from the Digital Circus even out of the corner of my eye in real life. Even though I love him as a character. So basically, I've seen a lot of theories going around, or like headcanons, or something of the sort, that he's actually, like, close to abstracting, or whatever, or, like, broken inside. And he covers that up with humor, like it's his coping mechanism, you know? Or, like, being rude to other people, blah, blah, blah. You know, like the psychology of bullying. You don't like yourself, so you put other people down so that you feel better about yourself. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, that does make a lot of sense, and I love seeing different, like, interpretations of a character, but personally, I don't think that's how it's gonna go down. Okay, so first, before I go any further, I'd like to point out this Tumblr post, or an answer to a question, that was posted by Gooseworks about Jax's character, because I find it really interesting. Okay, so, there's more parts to this post, but I'm just gonna read the parts that apply to what I'm talking about. So the question reads, from a scale of 1 to 10, what would Jax's evil meter be? 1 being an angel, while 10 is literally Satan. And Gooseworks replied, to answer your second question, it really depends on the situation he's in. He doesn't do anything too awful in the pilot, keep this in mind for later, but he definitely has some later moments that people are not gonna like. Okay, so here's the thing that gets me. He doesn't do anything too awful in the pilot compared to what he does later, and obviously, when you think about the pilot, like, yeah, he didn't do anything, like, horrendous. I mean, maybe he said stuff that was a bit insensitive, and someone he lived with for a while literally essentially died, and he was like, rip Kaufmo, I guess. So, yeah, that's a bit of an insight to the way he is as a person, I think. But here's my thing. While most of the stuff he does is all cartoony and goofy in the Digital Circus because, like, the way people react to harm and whatnot, like, their bodies are different, imagine if he was this way in the real world. He assaults people. He breaks into people's rooms without their permission. What else? He manipulates things to go his way, I would definitely say. And most of all, I think he's very controlling. I think that's his entire thing, really. Like, in how I see it, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to propose this as, like, a brand new, sparkly, shiny, never-before-seen theory. I literally heard, like, other people make this analyzation, and that's how I've come to this conclusion. But, I thought I might as well make a video about it anyway. So, I think that Jax, he's trying to gain control over, not, like, over the Digital Circus as a whole, but over the people around him, because that's how he stays sane. Like, just think about it. This guy harasses everyone. he jokes about their deaths and doesn't seem to actually care for anybody there. If I'm wrong, if I'm proven wrong in later episodes, that's my bad. But I'm pretty sure Gooseworks confirmed somewhere that literally no one there actually likes him. So yeah. Clearly he's just relentless to everybody. And the reason why isn't because it's a coping mechanism, I think. It's because he's trying to gain control and put himself above everyone so that he can have this sense of superiority and control over the world around him that keeps him from slipping into insanity. Instead of being focused on leaving, he's focused on controlling, which diverts his attention from, getting too obsessed with the exit and abstracting. And when you think of it that way, he's kind of an evil mastermind. Like, for instance, he's here trying to take control of everyone around him, manipulating things to go his way, and he's using the cartoony world he's in to his advantage. He makes himself seem like he's, the funny, goofy one, but in reality, he's gaining control of everything around him, and he's using that goofy persona as a way to cover it up. Furthermore, I believe he's also using the fact that he's in this digital world to his advantage, which makes me think that he was just probably always like this as a person. Like, I feel like this is the kind of thing he would do in the real world, too, because it seems like a very quick thing for him to fall back on. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I believe all of this has to be true. It could very well be that he wasn't controlling in the real world, and then in the digital circus, he, saw it as his only resort to not go insane. Just in my opinion, so far, I'm thinking that he was probably always like this. I feel like you'd have to be very resourceful to take advantage of the digital world in this way, because, obviously, think about it. As I said before, breaking and entering, he physically assaults people, he verbally assaults people, he harasses people, he terrorizes people in other ways, the centipede, yeah, he takes things from people, he's just not... If he did this in the real world, he would probably be in prison right now. And he knows that. He's using it to his advantage. He knows what he can and can't do in this world, and he knows how it plays into his hands. I'd say in terms of, emotional control over people, I'd say he's got near the amount Kane has, Maybe in a different way, but he's definitely got control. The scene I always think about, I know it's a bit of a stupid scene to go off of, but I often think about that scene where he dictates that he will go with Ragatha and Pomni to go see Kaufmo, and just sends Kinger and Gangle on a quest to go, get Zubul back. He's just like, okay, I'm putting these two together to go on a mission, and everyone just accepts it, Even though no one there likes him, even though he harasses everybody, when he dictates something will happen, they listen, because he's established control over the digital circus, and this is what brings me back to the Tumblr post that Gooseworks made. I think that he's going to turn into some sort of antagonist, or maybe even a villain, but I don't think he's going to go that far, because he is still a victim of the circus. He's not the ringmaster or anything, unless he's, the secret evil guy behind it all, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Actually, I personally think that they're going to find Abel, and Abel will be a person who's, the one with ill intent, since Kane is just an AI. Or, I also like the theory that Kinger and Queenie originally made the digital circus and forgot. But anyways, that's far besides the point. The point is, I think Jax is going to not get a corruption arc, because he's already not that good of a person. But the point is, I think Jax is just going to continually fall into being more and more relentless to those around him. He's going to abandon people, he's going to hurt people. Heck, maybe he'll even do some, evil and villainous actions directly against people for his own gain. I mean, he's already kind of done that, but, in ways that are even worse. And when you think about what could be worse in the digital circus, since most of the stuff he does is, okay, since it's cartoony right now, it's kind of horrifying. What lengths is this guy going to go through to maintain control? And here's the other question that brings me to. What will he do if he loses that control? What is he going to do if people just stop giving in to his torment? What is he going to do if they start all fighting back? What is he going to do if they don't listen to him anymore, if they ignore him, if he can't establish his superiority with his actions? I think, if anything, if Jax is going to abstract, or like something's going to happen to him, I think that's going to be his downfall, a loss of control. Because as I said before, that's what's diverting his attention away from wanting to find an exit, wanting to find an escape to the real world. The fact that he's established control and dominance over the digital world. Without that, he could very well start to slip away. And I think it would be incredibly interesting to watch him rise up as an antagonist and then fall as he starts to lose control over the people that he's had this control over for the past, I don't even know how long. So in conclusion, I believe that Jax's whole persona and role as the funny menace character is really just a facade, and he's actually trying to gain and keep control over everyone around him, which is going to drive him to power and then lead to his downfall. I really hope something like this happens, because boy is it going to be interesting. I just think that Jax has so much potential as a character, and I'm really excited to see what Gooseworks does with him. So, there you go. I'd love to hear other people's interpretations of his characters or theories, so if you've got anything that's like different from this, go ahead and comment it, and I'm gonna be like, that's a really cool take. Well, have a good day!